Hi, I'm Brian Dobson. You might know me from my roles in Lego Ninjago, Transformers, Dragon Ball Z, and Your Mother's Room. Just kidding about all of that, except for the last part. But I have Brian Dobson today with me. Can you
And
believe
I
it?
have Chris. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to come in as Chris Noisy. I thought we could really then we
Complete.
could have flipped things. Anyway, continue. Talk
No,
about
please,
yourself.
please. I would love for a professional of 30 years who have only heard probably everything you've done, doing some kind of impression of me somehow, and knowing
Oh,
that we share at least one character, which I'm going to get to that much later. But my God, hi! Thanks for making the time to be here, being the busy Dobson that you are.
howdy.
Yes, of many, of multiple Dobsons. My God.
Of the
Um,
pack? Yeah.
Yes, I know. I know. What was it? Dobson the Younger was once a nickname I heard, perhaps from a.
That has come out, and it's been kind of a thing. Being the youngest Dob,
Yes, of
youngest
which.
Dob of them all. It's
So yeah.
but I don't know if I feel it. But yeah.
Well, we're all getting on. We all look back and it's like,
I
oh,
wait.
Transformers Armada was 2001. What is my life? You know,
You
it's
feel
it's
old
yeah.
already.
I
Right there.
I often start these off with the stereotypical. Please tell me your tragic backstory as to how you got bit by the acting bug. I know a little bit about your backstory because I know that you are half British, half Canadian. You and your family moved back and forth quite a bit throughout your early childhood. And I know that you eventually, when you settled in Canada, became a DJ, and then that led to the voiceover path, etc. But take us back to a younger Brian. What was your fascination with what eventually became your career with performing, with using your voice, with character stuff, with animation, with anything, everything? Tell us a little bit, some fun
I mean,
stuff
if you go,
about
it
young
depends on
lad.
how far you kind of go back. I mean, if you go way the heck back, it was just down to three brothers in front of a television set that were bored enough because we only had BBC One, Two, and Three to kind of go through. So turning the volume off of the boredom that was television and then creating the voices for what we were seeing in what we thought was the perfect world was our fodder at the time.
Uh
So it
huh.
was. It, we were doing stuff like that and doing, I guess, the craftings of getting in the voice and or acting, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
It was pretty bent and at a very young age, at a very young age. But theater was kind of the open door after. I remember going to see my brother's productions, and they were. Oh, I was just left like, wow, especially with the stuff with the cool stagecraft and all of
Hmm.
that. So I fell into those shoes eventually myself, and that I think was kind of the beginnings of a formal role into acting.
I have to ask because I know that always often like any kind of creative because I do art and animation as you know as well
Yeah,
and often the typical thing with a parent is like, oh god, all right, but how are you gonna make real money? I have to imagine were your mom and pop like, oh bloody hell, all three of our children want to get into this
what do you
at
think?
some
I mean,
point.
with that whole, just like you all want to be actors. Hold on a second. Although well, that wasn't, it was kind of a weird little path the way that all kind of broke into play. But
Hmm.
I'm especially being the third to fall into this, I was pretty surprised how supportive my parents were between that, and I also I was dangling on what I was hoping to create as a music career at the time, and I
Hmm.
remember my folks, I don't know, they were pretty amazing. They really were very supportive of what I think sometimes would have been exactly like you said, like, what are you doing? No,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
go to the school, whatever the case was. They were great, and that helped, pave a road. Because it's a difficult road doing stuff like this, so you need some kind of help, mentally
Yeah.
support
Well, you
structure,
certainly had
something.
it. You were overwhelmed with support. I would say, my God.
Well, I had two brothers that had really kind of paved their own way through, especially at the time where it was really difficult to break that circle. They kind of got in
Yeah.
and held their own for a while before I even kind of broke away from Vancouver Island.
Hmm.
try a crack at doing this crazy thing called voice. So yeah, interesting times.
Now you grew because I know actually I think on the lovely Brent Miller of Brent Miller fame,
Yeah,
you had talked about how for a long time there was a misconstrued thing on like Wikipedia or wherever that like you were born in England but you were born in Canada first. I don't know
yeah.
how much time you spent in Europe throughout, but yeah, was your family mostly Vancouver Island for a lot of time? Was that like kind of
Well,
your
I
home
was
base?
born in Montreal
Okay,
and literally there of all maybe a year before whisked off to England, and
gotcha.
that's where I remained until 12, almost 13 years old, and then we came back and to the West Coast we came. Our first ventures in Canada was East Coast wise. We were in
Yeah.
Ontario,
Hmm.
and then eventually, yeah, it was a lot of bouncing around to and fro with uh, the family.
Yeah.
A
So
long road.
So I know the theater stuff was shared by all of you, and I realized later that the
Yeah,
DJ stuff was shared by you and Paul specifically. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and so I imagine that probably had some cross pollination with it because I know you play guitar and you sing
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. Did the DJ stuff kind of come sort of like parallel to just trying to get into music stuff like locally in Vancouver as well?
I was trying to find a way of doing, I needed a job. But I was, at the same time, I mean, mainly at that time, I was more so a musician trying to survive, and I did not want to be a pool cleaner like a lot of my buddies were at the time, which would
Yeah.
seem to be the standard issue job for most starving musicians at the time. So I tried a few different things, really trying to make a buck and keep my head above water while praying for something to happen.
And then it did, in fact, because
Amazing. Yeah, it was
I know the first like series or no, I guess it was maybe it was an OVA. The Dog Soldier, was that an OVA or a little one off anime thing, right? It was the very
I think it
first.
was a one-off. I'm pretty sure it was Shadows of the Past.
Yes, yes. Late
That was,
'90s Ocean,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And what a terrifying entry, really, kind of having as your entry to doing voiceover, having to do ADR, where you're matching voice flaps and trying to read a script and follow time code and not piss your pants at the same time.
Was that still on analog stuff, or had you guys switched to digital by
It's
that
still on
point?
that. No, it's still,
Oh,
yeah. They were
even
running
more.
tape, and so it was all the more difficult, but I shortly after that, I got in, and I was a script tweaker for Dragon Ball Z, which was an
Oh,
interesting turn of events, and then getting an insight to how the process was of developing script for anime, and that was a challenge. I
so
mean, 'cause
you did adaptation for a little while.
yes, it
Really?
was really one of the most challenging, crazy making jobs, especially back then, because we were working with
Yeah.
tape. I mean, if that's the work you were involved with, it wouldn't be unusual that you could get through two or three VCRs in a year because of the rewinding and fast forwarding. Trying to,
Oh yeah, no. The great Terry Clausen, has talked about. I think when they were doing Ranma, which that was even I think that was before Dragon Ball. It might have been, and how
yeah,
just like working with tapes was such a pain in the ass. And then
long sessions.
soon as QuickTimes became a thing, it's like oh, I could go frame by frame on things and not want to kill myself.
Think about that leap, right? I mean, it's night and day between them going from that the analog days to the digital leap as to what it was. But it
Yeah.
was crazy making as a script tweaker because we would get a set of notes, which was what they call the OJ, the original Japanese, and it was the direct
Yes,
translation.
that's
So
right.
I
That's
think
right.
anyone that's ever seen a direct translation from, say, Japanese to English, it reads very oddly, right? So you have to smooth it out, or as they say, tweak it. Problems being it was the edits, right? Because there was stuff that wasn't
Of
for our
course. Of course.
little bits of nudity or whatever the case. So these scenes would be cut out, and then in some cases it would affect the story. So you would have to tweak the story to accept these edits that were in some cases um, fairly brutal to the actual
Now
show.
let me get the timeline right on this. And if I'm not mistaken, I know that at the very beginning when Funimation brought the show to do in Canada,
Yeah,
Terry and Ian Corlett, when he was still doing Goku,
Hmm.
They had, I think, some kind of production company where specifically they were doing adaptation for foreign animation in general, not even just anime. I don't know if you were doing that through them or if it was through Ocean specifically, but did you do this stuff at like the very, very beginning, like before you were voicing on the show? Because you didn't come in and think until Jiro and Boo, like later on, yeah?
That's correct. And I was, I'm pretty sure, don't, I mean, because man, this was a lifetime ago, but I'm pretty sure I was tweaking scripts before I was actually cast on the show.
Yeah, yeah. Because the reason I know that for sure, just to pop in on that for, because I
Yeah,
know way too. I'm such a Dragon Ball freak. It's insane.
I love it.
And that's another thing. By the way, we share that in common because I've done writing for the video games. Funnily enough, I've done adaptation for
That's
the Dragon Ball
amazing.
video games.
So you have an idea what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
absolutely. And then for games, it's easier. For actual anime footage, it's a whole other beast for sure. Go on
Oh,
about that. But I know that with for those of you who don't probably already know this, the order of events was Funimation got the show. They went to Vancouver, did 13 episodes of Dragon Ball at BLT.
Barry and his
Then
wife. Yep.
oh yes, yeah, and Gen Fukunaga, who's now retired as well
Yeah,
from
yeah.
this company. But and then they moved it to Ocean for Z. They did the first like 50 something of Z, stopped, did 3 movies that were uncut, which was the first time they experimented with that. Then moved the production to Dallas. That's where Sabat and all the usual gang from the
Yeah.
current cast came in. And then another entity came to Ocean to do almost the rest of the show, not absolutely everything, but everything from when Trunks shows up all the way to the end of Kid Buu, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That second come around, I know, was when you came in, because I remember never hearing you in the early stuff, but then when Jiro showed up for the first time, that was when I
Yeah.
remember. Oh, there's Brian. Okay, yeah, like that I remember very distinctly. So that if you were doing and I know that also those episodes, I don't know if you
Yeah.
know this actually, the episodes that you did with Jiro and Boo and all that, those were the scripts from the Texas stuff. That was Texas did those episodes, and that script was what they were using first, and you guys used that. So it was this weird kind of back and forth sort of thing going on. But if it was before
It
then,
was
then you would have been doing that really, really, really early, like the say in the Namek arcs and all the really like first 50 something episodes. And I had no idea you did that. I don't even know if that's chronicled anywhere as far as I've
No.
ever seen. So that's kind of an exclusive, as a matter of
I think there's a
fact.
lot of stuff that is common knowledge, and definitely some things that was never, known. But it's
Yeah.
the Dragon Ball Day. That was a really, really wild and interesting time, especially I think because none of us really knew what we had
Oh
at a
no.
very early
God no.
stage, but it that slowly developed um, that it was special and. Yeah, what an experience! Because I remember, I mean, those sessions had to be pushed originally to we had them, sporadically anywhere where we could go in and do it, but they were such long durations, those records. We'd punch out so many episodes that it was so taxing, especially with the characters I had, that
Yeah.
we had to push it to a Friday, so I'd have 2 days of healing to come back and be any good to anybody for anything else thereafter. So it was.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
One
two,
of the
well,
most
two,
taxing shows I've ever worked on, I think.
two things about that. One, by the time that you got on the show, did you know like, oh, finally, I'm on like the big, it's Dragon Ball, finally, and by the time that, especially when you're, because like Jiro was not as bad, but Boo, I mean, that was like so many episodes of the evil Boo stuff. Had they changed it to like, okay, we're not doing 8-hour days of dubbing and screaming your lungs out anymore, or was that still a thing
It's
at that
pretty
time?
merciless, to be honest. Out of like that show, it just you had to show up and just get ready for the punch that it was, and it was a big punch to the vocal cords. It again, I mean, having to push it to a Friday record just to have that time of healing, it was too taxing to have anywhere else placed in the week, and
Yeah.
expect to be, oh, okay, let's go do some narration afterwards. Not gonna happen. It was crazy, and all the forms of Boo alone. It was just it was one of those shows where I never knew exactly how insane the workload was going to be that day, but I would know that it would most certainly be insane.
Is there a, because yeah, literally, there's the consistency of Scott is just the innocent, the good Boo, and
Yeah,
you're every possible version of
every other part of
evil
evil that
Boo. Yeah. Is there
comes
is
out
there
of
a
him.
particular one that you like more than any of the others?
Well, it was easier performing Super Boo
Mm-hmm.
when he was in that form. Kid Boo was such a pinched. I mean, and all of a sudden he would morph into 500 of himself.
Oh, and you have to layer all of them on
Well, the,
top.
the producers really took the piss out of me on the first one. 'Cause I was
Uh-huh.
like, what do we do here? There's like, well, we're gonna have to get like punch in for each of them. And I was like, but look at the screen. This is really
Yeah, yeah.
But
Ugh.
what we yes, you know, we would do multiple takes in layers. But I mean, you know, 5 or 6 of those rows would get us through a scene of it. But I mean, it was the longevity of those fight scenes, which I'll
Hmm.
never forget. Myself and Kirby Morrow left a good portion of our lungs, I think, or vocal cords on the
Yeah,
studio
I
wall.
mean, like the super boost stuff alone. I mean, that's a good like probably of the original Z. This is pre Kai where they cut out all the fluff. I think that's probably a good like 50 episodes just that out of
Was
300. So my
yeah,
God, have you
and he,
met?
that voice, you know, he was constantly pushing it. Yeah, woo, what a ride.
Have you
It was
met?
fun.
I mean, you've done so many cons the last 30 years. Have you met Justin Cook or Josh Martin at any point? You guys crossed paths?
I have what we've met, and it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
this this uh, this torch goes on, and
Yeah.
now Akira Toriyama has passed, and
Hmm.
it seems like it's almost reignited a whole new thing for Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
A lot of want for like panels of cast members. I find now is the big hot thing for a lot of these cons, which is great. Um, Hopefully, going to have some European dates coming up, which
Oh, okay. I've
yeah.
not done any international cons yet. I'm just
Well,
kind of
this
getting
is
back
it.
into
I
that.
know.
I
Not
hope.
none of
I
us,
hope. I
many
hope.
of us do, right? It's uh, there's plenty to do between Florida and Texas alone. It's incredible.
Yes,
I've never seen
absolutely.
so many cons that are going on,
I
and
just did my first nostalgia con. I don't know if you've done any of those before, but that was a great
pretty
experience getting to do
sure I
that.
have not, or have I done one?
The Ed, Ed and Eddie trio, Sam and Matt
Debbie and the
and
boys,
Tony, they are
yes.
living it up doing all those right now. My
Oh
God.
my God, that
Yeah,
tour has been long time coming, but they couldn't
absolutely.
get them all. Now they
All
have
it takes
20.
is a Funko Pop, kids. Your
Holy,
life changes.
that did change everything, and that
Yeah. God
has been,
almighty.
I think, one of my. I'm so fortunate to have a good array of Funkos that I can take if I do a con. So
Yeah. Oh, especially.
there are
Well,
places to go at. Yeah,
there's a lot. I mean, going between. I mean, Dragon Ball. It was even coding out of order there. But like some of the Gundams that had come up by that point, Escaflowne, which I know was a very beloved project for everybody on that. But
yeah.
I mean, He Man, we've got to hit for a minute because I know now that from. I know from many interviews, that was your first big foot into the original
Relay
animation
World.
market, and
Yes.
what a way to come out of the goddamn gate! Like, and not just him, but a good like 5 recurring because Buzz Off and a lot of other guys on the
A
show.
total of 8 characters on that show. It was ridiculous.
That that show rules, by the way.
Never.
Still to this day,
I
that show
certainly
fucking
thought so.
rules.
I mean, I just.
Yeah,
Um, you know, I was a fan of the whole. I was, drawn in with the early days of
of
Motu.
course, of course.
Alan Oppenheimer's print was definitely
Mm-hmm.
a unique
Mm-hmm.
thing all to its own, and his his print actually was a part of the audition going into that
Of
character. 'Cause,
course, yeah.
I remember getting a disc, and they're saying, "Okay, we want to go this way, but we want to have it and see if we can push it into slightly a darker place."
Right.
And apparently, what really sold them on, they liked where I pushed it, but they also loved the cackle. Apparently, I think the
Oh yeah.
cackle was a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
star.
yeah.
And that was so much of a fun part to do that character, right? So he was my time in the sandbox, no question. That was a lot of fun.
That I forget what's it was pretty far into the show, maybe third or fourth season, but the bit with the Keldor backstory episode, him meeting Evelyn and all that,
Wow. Yeah.
and then like him having the deal with Hordak, the lovely Colin Murdoch, who I adore, and then
Oh,
he
Colin.
just has the
Innocent. Yeah.
floating head, and then just like that um, what is it the Joker killing joke like. Oh, yep, I've lost my mind. There it goes. I'm laughing. It's just that whole bit is just it's like so well directed. It's so well animated. It's so well performed by everybody. It's mwah, love that show.
Yeah, it was. I love the writing on that show. That's one thing I really enjoyed,
Yeah.
and a lot to be said for Dean Stefan, who has passed since.
Oh, okay.
We used to do was it PowerCon in LA? I mean, we used to do a con there, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the He-Man cons we go to, Dean would show up as well as
Mm-hmm.
to do panels and whatnot. And him and I would sit with guitars in the lobby of the hotels and play until we'd often get kicked out by the someone of the hotel staff saying, "Okay, that's enough, you guys. Shut it down. Haven't you got a panel in the morning?" But he was just the greatest dude, and he was, he would always throw up his philosophy and the coolest cat to just get into a conversation with and talk life. I miss him immensely. He
Oh,
was and what a great writer. So
yeah. I mean,
very
I'm
talented dude.
that show I felt was such a perfect balance of like it still kept a little bit of the cheese. It had that kind of like mythological fantasy excitement, like almost like a Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings kind of flavor to it, but
yeah,
for,
I
but
like
for
it.
kids, not too soft, not but it, yeah. So I to this day, it's funny. This is just now. There's two things I'm remembering. One, to this day, I cannot say the words "I think not" without "I think not." Like I can't not say it that way. Still, like 20
It'll
years
really go
later,
good.
so funny. And I don't know if probably anybody ever told you, and I'm going to be very careful with my wording of this because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there have been a few other incarnations of He-Man that have happened since then, other animated shows and various things.
Yeah, no, it's Mark Hamill has the torch now. I
That's right.
mean,
Yeah, he did one of them. There have been multiple, but I do remember that there
yeah,
was there
yeah.
was an audition for it, and I had gotten it, and there were like multiple rounds. They were just not finding what they were looking for, but I do remember in one of the rounds they linked to a clip of you, and said we're looking for this, and every time I was like, just
It's
get
funny 'cause
him.
I had people calling me that were part of that audition too, and just kind of like they just gave me a clip of you for this blah blah blah. And I'm like, how come were you not approached? And I was just like, well, I have a feeling that they're trying to keep that all in that side of the border for this. So
Yeah,
I don't know
which
what movie it was.
I really. This is a side note. I think, I might be wrong about this, but I think I met Mr. Morrison from Ocean recently. He
Oh
was,
yeah,
I think.
Ken.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
believe it was an older gentleman. He was there with his associate, and they were out
Yeah.
here for Anime Expo, which is the biggest
Makes
anime
sense
con,
then. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they were hunting for new clients. And I said, please, I say this as like a competing market. Like I miss my Vancouver cartoons and anime dubs, man. It's like I it hurts me that like at least currently that
Oh.
it's a dry spell. It makes me sad. I
Flattered.
wish
That's amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, there was a really good run for a while there, and I mean,
long time.
they're still putting stuff out. I'm, yeah, it's funny when I look over my shoulder and I think about the ocean days. So
Yeah,
because it was such a frequent part of my week is that I would be there so often, and
yeah. I it,
wow,
it
yeah,
is funny even to this day, and I did this with Scotty a couple months ago, where it's like I always have to clear up to people like Ocean, despite the fact that they had such a massive lion's share of the work in town for a time, they were not the only studio in town. So not everything from I don't know where was He-Man was He-Man Coco or BLT or something, I
I was
can't remember.
Coco.
That was Coco,
Yeah,
okay, and then. Transformers. I thought Transformers was Ocean, but I think that was someplace because I know Terry did all the Transformers shows with you guys.
Transformers we did at was it Ocean? I'm trying to
I
remember
don't
now.
know. I don't. I might not have
Airwaves,
been. Oh, okay.
maybe.
Maybe Airways with Henny.
Airwaves? Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I got a shot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, they're saying sorry.
Coco.
Voice box. They're saying voice box. Maybe
Yeah, well,
that
VoiceBox
could be.
handled it, but I mean, they would record. That would probably have been at Coco, not GGRP. Yeah, Coco or Ocean would have
Hmm.
had the recordings.
Yeah, I uh, I
That's why.
remember. Okay, this is funny. I feel like because people rag on the what they call the Unicron trilogy, those three anime ones, but
Yes, of
that
course.
was my transfer because I was
That's
too
hilarious.
young for G1. I saw Beast Wars. Scott would kill me if he knew that I slept on Beast Wars. I just didn't see a lot of it. And then
Yeah.
Armada was the one that I was my real introduction. So like Gary and Dave are they're Optimus Megatron to me. But that early gang, and then obviously with you and Brent as the rest of the Autobots at the very beginning.
It was a
Um,
great. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, for me to jump in with 2 feet at that point was that was a lot of fun. It was
yeah.
just odd being, transformed, if you will, from an American to a British guy into Cybertron.
Cybertron was weird in general
Red
for a lot of
Skull.
reasons, for sure. Yeah. Well, we'll see. So it's funny on that. Speaking of seeing these weird transitional things with Transformers, because I had heard a lot of weird things about in especially the early days of Armada, where there was like incomplete. I don't know if you guys might have been dubbing to like animatics or something. There was incomplete footage and unanimated
Oh,
stuff. A lot of the
yeah.
apparent, because by the way, I don't know if you know this as well. Apparently, you're actually Ratchet. I don't know what happened with that, but apparently like a huge chunk of the names got messed up, because I remember going to a convention and I saw Japanese like imported toys of the Armada, what to me was Optimus, Hotshot, Red Alert, and in big bold letters, Convoy, which they call him that in Japanese anyway, Hot Rod and Ratchet. And I'm like, what?
What?
So yeah.
Ratchet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
evidently.
That was funny. I know that was an interesting run, that show. It just seemed I had a lot of question marks, and I needed to come up with answers for fans were just going off as to like what the bleep is going on. Uh,
Well, I
I
also
don't
met,
know.
yeah. I imagine also
Oh, exactly.
Terry half the time is like,
It was fun
I
to do
don't
the
know what's
British
happening.
accent. Oh yeah, no, it was a full on kerfuffle, and I had Clocker in there too. That was a
Yeah, he was. That was Energon, I think. Right? Was the second one? It was Clocker, maybe, or maybe the third one,
yes,
possibly.
cyber or enter. I'm not sure. It
Yeah,
was
well, because by that point there were like there were so many. It's like, all right, we got to double up some people,
bots
maybe triple
everywhere.
up some people for sure. I need to sincerely apologize to you for having known this for so long. I've still not watched Trouble Chocolate. And
Oh right, yes, we
apparently it's
talked
some
about that.
fun little cute one-off thing that looks like it would
Uh,
totally be up my alley, and I know that you often talk about that's like
I
one of your
always throw it the
favorite
push. I like it.
characters ever.
You always get that any con you go to, everyone's like, okay, so what's the most obscure or what's the underdog or the blah 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 in anime that and that's one of the aces I always pull out because
Hmm.
it's so colorful. It's such an obscure topic of it's a school of sorcery,
Hmm.
where everyone kind of goes and these professors are all such great characters. Uh, I think all my brothers got a chance to work on that one as well.
Okay.
Uh, my brother Mike did a brilliant job with the guy that he had, and I can't remember for the life of me what that character's name is. But I do invite anybody to take the time and check that show out if they're into something of the unusual nature.
Yeah, well, it's funny.
Very very funny.
I've been introduced to some of the there was I don't remember if you worked on this one, but there was another little one and done. It was called Elemental Gelade that Carl directed. There were little ones like that, and like Shakugan no Shana. Some of these that I missed.
Yeah.
I knew what they were because I knew that you guys were all in them. But once in a while, I'm like, let me check this one out. And then I'll be like, oh, this is a little fun, like little 13 episode journey
Totally.
and hearing
These little micro
all the
ones.
old gang that I love getting to have fun and be ridiculous. So for
I've had a
sure.
few of those in my career, and I actually really love them when they come along when they're these little boutique ones that you just kind of sink your teeth into.
For sure. I mean, because doing like the long run, the Zoids, the Gundams that go on for 50
Mm.
something, that's nice for sure. But yeah, once in a while,
Yeah.
even out here, like even I've done some like little like Netflix one and done. I'm like that was fun, just because like you get to do something. Plus, they sometimes they'll get more experimental on what they'll cast you as. It'll be like, well, maybe nobody will watch this, so it's okay if we cast you as this like, oh
Yeah,
yes,
give it a
hello,
go. And before you know it, oh, it got
Yes,
popular. But
my
that's
God.
great.
I I always bring this up with everybody in the Vancouver pool, but even though it probably wasn't like the best of the best of the best of all of the many shows you guys did, but my personal favorite always was Mega Man and T Warrior. That that
Oh
was
my God.
yeah, that was an instrument because that was one of the shows that got me interested in wanting to do this. And
I
hearing everyone
Yeah.
in town on that show as upwards of 3 people at least, so
I had such a good time with that because I had Searchman and he was just like a dude. And
very
with
solid,
that,
solid snake coated kind of Metal Gear kind of
it was, but it was also one of those series that kept on every time you go in, there would be some either guest star or you'd
Yeah,
always pick up another little character that you go along and you'd kind of get your base character and you'd play with whoever either guest stars or whatever the deal was. But it kept giving and it was a lot of fun episodes were, really
It's
cool.
a lot, and it's funny. It's sad to say you got a little gypped because there were two full more seasons of that show that never got dubbed.
Fully,
And
Jim.
did
Yeah.
you ever? I don't think he's been doing stuff for a long time. There was a gentleman, Matt Smith, not to be confused with the Doctor Who Matt Smith, and actor Matt Smith. Do you know of him? He was.
Yes, I don't. I'm
He
gonna say
was.
no, but I mean, that's
Yeah,
impossible. Hard
he
to
he
say.
he was they were fantasy countries, but he was the
Yeah.
Russian operator
Oh.
to Searchman. He was the kind of partner character to you.
Oh.
And in the following season that you guys didn't get to do, of because I watched a lot of it in Japanese as they were coming out too.
I love it.
You guys have like a fusion thing
Okay.
that you get to do because like literally Searchman is in like the whole rest of like another 100 episodes that never saw the light of day in the U.S. unfortunately, and I was always bummed about because that was a big one that I was following very profusely, but
I had no idea that he went off that deep into the
yeah.
future.
Oh
Just,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
super
Well,
cool.
in the show especially, because like the show went in such a different direction from the video games. By that point, they did this kind of Power Rangery kind of like the human characters would fuse with the net
Fused
navies
together,
and kind
yeah.
of do these kind of things. But yeah, no, Searchman and Leica had a whole thing that went on for a long time. That there was a theatrical movie as well that was beautifully animated. It was a little one off thing that I always keep hoping like can like Discotheque or some company like license rescue this and get the gang back and do like
Yeah.
one little
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
kill for that man, you know.
You just know it would go off, right? So,
Yeah,
yes, we cross our fingers, but I mean, my
I
God.
know always. Uh, Warhammer. I have some friends that are tremendous to this day Warhammer aficionados, and I've heard the tales upon tales upon tales of how that killed everyone in town. Collectively,
Oh,
I think everyone was put out of work for doing anything on the however many games you guys did of that
that was
series.
well, I think I've dabbled with that franchise for a good 15 years or so.
Wow.
So that was, campaign after campaign, voicing multiple different characters. Primarily, I mean, worked for doing the character of Gabriel Angelos and a ton of orcs.
Oh yeah.
But I
Those will
mean,
kill you.
yeah, and force commanders and all. I mean, just screaming everything over the distance of 3 football fields. It was incredible. Long 6-hour records with that. It was just
Christ.
not. Yeah, it was a demanding show, and that too ended up getting pushed to the end of the week because
Yeah.
it was good to anybody out there. It was just so. How much more could one scream? Well, maybe in a zombie apocalypse,
I know if I'm remembering from because before we started recording, we were reminiscing about the lovely Trevor Duvall, who
yeah,
with the man we all
go
adore.
T-Rev.
Yes, and on his podcast, which I was listening to when I was a young man and just thinking about getting into doing this professionally and getting a lot of inspiration from you guys talking about this stuff and giving advice. You had talked about how you were in the midst of, I think, doing one of the Warhammers and was also doing, I want to talk about this show, Fantastic Four, and had to
Yes,
do the episode where the Thing fights the Incredible Hulk.
and that was my first larynx tear. How
Woof.
what a wonderful experience to go through. So yeah, here I am in the midst of we just kind of kicked in with He-Man, so it's fairly fresh, and we're just getting in with Fantastic Four, and yeah, I remember the producers kept on coming back over the talk over it. And it's at the end of the episode where the Thing meets the Hulk, and the Hulk was played by a massive man and good friend of mine, Mark Gibbon.
Yes, yes.
And he's just like when Mark talks, you can
The
hear the
room
size of his
shakes. Oh
lungs.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got like a natural girth and big sound to his voice.
Absolutely,
So when
yeah.
he pushes it down into the world of the Hulk, it's very effective, and
Absolutely.
it's huge. And I remember Ian Richter, who is one of the executive producers on the show, was kept coming over the talker. He's like, Brian, it sounds great, but sounds like Mark's winning, and he's much bigger, and the Thing is supposed to win, so we're gonna have to go again. And we got multiple takes, and anyway, I just kept on feeling this heat developing on the side of
Oh.
my throat, and by the end of the session, it was really bad. And then that night, it was so bad, I went and got it checked out. And sure enough, I'd torn the left side of my larynx. And
Youch.
that
Oh
was that.
boy.
Shut up for a month and notepad and pen and try and explain to the people of Hey Man that I'm no good to anybody for this little period. So I wasn't a popular guy for a little.
Was He-Man, Fantastic Four, and Warhammer all overlapping at the same time?
There were moments of overlap, so it was
Holy shit, brother!
it.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I don't know if I would have been able to
those kind
survive
of
that. Jesus.
yeah. And so there came a time where I had to kind of pick and choose because video games were always just such a thing. There was just
Yeah.
um, I had got involved doing video games before I can remember. There was a time I remember doing video games well before most clients had tapped into agencies and whatnot, where they would get a guy and a gal, and they would just have those two sexes cover those genders, right? I mean, it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you cover all the guy roles and
All the games I played growing up, a lot of the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 era stuff, it was just the developers. They just jump in the booth or take a little USB
yes,
mic and just do
totally.
whatever. And sometimes you get something fun or cool, but you know.
Yeah, it was a crapshoot. Some
Yeah.
people could do it, and others couldn't. But I loved it in the early days. Like woohoo, we'd go in and you just tango all the, make one contract for yourself,
Yeah.
and it was good.
Did you ever do mocap stuff up there?
I've done facial mocap. I've never
Okay.
done the body. I know a few people that a good friend of mine, Peter Benson, who's also a director here in town.
Okay. Yeah.
He was the authority for the longest time in doing a lot of body mocap and whatnot. But I know a few other folks are getting into it.
Yeah. I know there was like a big, if I'm remembering right, I think there was a big EA studio where they did a whole
There
lot of
is,
stuff.
and
And
Emily Carr. They've got a. That's who I've done some facial stuff for.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
Really cool. Great experience if you ever get a chance to do it. That's for sure. It's horrible work.
I've never done body. I think I did one facial thing. Don't take that out of context. Whoa! But no, the thing is, what I have done is, and thank God for all the anime I'd done. I had done ADR for a game where they did all the mocap in France, and they had all this
Oh, nice.
footage, and so they would do like the kind of with zero offense meant because they knew that this was just how it was going to go, but the semi broken English sort of half performance of it with the sort of body stuff, and I would kind of catch all of it and everything. And because of the anime stuff, I was like, okay, I know how to get the timing of this down, thankfully. But anytime I'd see like those, I don't know how much if you play much games, but when I see like,
Yeah, I'm a gamer.
oh yeah, like when I see behind the scene stuff of like all the Naughty Dog people, like the Troy Bakers and Nolan Norris, those types of guys, and just that sort of thing, it's like, oh, it looks like so much fun. Yeah, and I wasn't even a theater guy. I don't even have that
kidding,
like
right?
itch to
Yeah.
scratch, but
Just going
good
off.
lord.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
If I'm remembering also correctly, because I know that this is an incredibly rare instance, but I think was Fantastic Four possibly the first time where you, Michael, and Paul were all in the room together recording at the same time?
For a prelay?
Yes,
Maybe that could have been for, well, that's
because Paul was Doom, obviously, and
yes.
I think Mike was Ronan the Accuser, maybe for like an
Yeah, he
episode or
was
two.
one of the. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. Good
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
So that's for sure. Yes, we were all on that one. I'm just wondering if
Was something
there was
before
any
that that might have
crossovers
been.
for He-Man or
No, because Michael was never in He-Man. Uh,
was there was a show called Alien Racers.
oh yeah.
I'm not sure if that was before He-Man or after. Now I gotta get my timeline all screwed up, but
God,
I
let's
think we
see.
were all possibly on that show. I wanted way more legs with that show, and it didn't go
Well,
well.
I've heard the story of when. If anybody doesn't know what the hell Alien Racers was, I guess it was a toy line before it was an animated series. 2005. Okay, so that would have
Yeah.
been. It was after He-Man. It was after He-Man and before Fantastic
Okay, it
Four.
was
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I
So,
just, yeah.
yeah, it was a very toy commercial. Which whatever, who cares? Like, not no judgment. It was a very toy commercial driven type product placement show. But Ian Corlett I know has talked many times about it. He's like, yeah, I just came back from the States. I went to a Target and I saw all the toys in the bargain bin, and we're in the middle of doing the show. It's like,
Well,
whoops.
I think that's how I scored mine actually, because I have my figure from it too.
Oh,
But
really?
yes, and it's
Ultrax.
Ultrax.
Yes.
Exactly. Super
Yes.
cool looking figure, and it comes with like accessories and stuff. The
Hmm.
packaging, amazing looking on this thing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
Oh, is it still in box?
yeah, you
Oh,
want to see?
nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you have it right there. Where you got it?
Okay, hold
Hold,
on a
hold.
second.
That's
Yeah.
wow.
You can see him. So it's got like kind of this cool metallic with the packaging and whatnot. There he is in there.
Yes. And he was the lead, yeah, on that show?
Yeah, he was the lead
That's
of the
right.
show. It was a lot of fun.
My God. Was
And
that
you
your
get a
first
preview.
time being the main character of a show?
I think it was my first time being like
Wow.
being the man, and it comes with a comic book in there too, which is kind of
Hell yeah. I
uh,
know what it's
yeah.
it's so straight. It's funny sometimes where you get shows that like they're the sleeper hits or like they're unexpectedly like the big deal one or like you get ones that are like oh it's like this hotly contested property and then just up 13
Such a
episodes by and
crapshoot.
dead in the water. I know it's so weird. It's such a
Such a
strange thing.
crapshoot. You never know what's going to hit
Yeah.
and when, and I mean, yeah. Don't get me started. Don't get
Yeah.
me started.
Well, I
Some
bring up the Fantastic Four because I have to ask, what
oh,
was it surreal having a session with the three of you together in the same place performing at the same
that was
time? Because that
really
must have
cool
been
because I
crazy.
mean, Mike and Paul were so supportive with me
Hmm.
getting into the industry as well. So it was nice. It was a really cool payoff for us to have that opportunity because I never knew if it was ever going to happen. I
Because there was
don't
a
want to be too cocky
time.
with these things.
There was a time I know that like maybe Paul talked about this on an interview once where he was like there were still a lot of casting people that would be like we got one or two, we don't need all three of them, even though like
Uh,
I would never ever in a million years be able to get any of the three of you guys confused with each other. Like I
it
could pick you out individually. Oh, that's Brian, but like never like is that Michael or Puzzle? Never in a million
see,
years.
we need
So you
you in
know.
casting out there. There were so many of those where we get that word back through one of our agents or all three of them, and you got it was that same kind of thing. It's like you got one Dobson, you've got it covered, kind of thing.
So lame.
And we really wanted to diversify ourselves to kind of like, hey, we can hold ranges and actually, if you gave us three of us on one show, we could give you a diverse range of multiple characters. You could give us like three or four each if you wanted to. And
Absolutely, yeah.
we'd be able to take the ball and run. But
Well,
it's
because even on that same note, I mean, I go back to Mega Man again because like I've literally the three of you guys were at least 2 to 3 characters each in just that show alone
yeah,
that were
yeah.
like
Maybe
recurring or
Dragon Ball.
named. Oh
A,
yeah,
lo- a
absolutely.
lot of the animes that came across, because I mean that was always attractive to the client to
Yeah,
multicast any one talent, as you know. I mean, it's
yeah.
so yeah, it was good to be able to offer a range in some cases of which to have that, but
And
it
I'm
still didn't really break ground in the prelay world a lot of the time. It's like,
yeah.
no, no.
Well, I was glad there were. I don't know how much they would say that they would always know because like I know that now that I understand more of it that like oh they wouldn't audition like every single character. Often they probably just call you guys in for certain things. But I have to imagine that guys like Carl and James at Ocean that would just be like just get these guys like they know what they're
They
doing.
do. I
They're
mean,
gonna
it's
deliver. You
weird.
know.
Sometimes these auditions go out and you're kind of like, wow. I mean, I'm surprised because you either know somebody that's the pocket for that role or whatever the case is. I think it's great that they read for whatever characters to try and maybe bring some fresh talent in. And I think it's good for our industry here in Vancouver to
Yeah.
keep things fresh. But yeah, it's wonderful when you get auto cast on something just because you've got a familiarity with casting or whatever the case is. I mean, let's face it, there's no better phone call than just getting like they dropped you into this role
Yep.
because they knew you.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's funny because even like now, as I've become such an aficionado dork about this stuff, and I see like, oh, okay, this studio has this, and they have their like their favorites, their 20 that like, yep, they're probably going to be mixed in there somewhere or
Oh,
among that, and like sometimes from a viewer perspective, it's like, oh, daring today, aren't we? But then on the work perspective, it's like, oh, good loyalty, and always
it
they'll
can
all be
be.
on their mind. So
It can
for
be
sure,
sickening because I mean, if we were having this conversation a few years ago, it was just such an impossible circle to break, and it was just so many good people being
hmm
turned away because they didn't have that familiarity with the casting
yeah.
director, producers, and um, I think it was you know, uh, relative history since that has been shattered, and now you can see nothing. I think also a lot of it. There's a lot of schools that have opened up in between that at time, and a lot of people that are actual directors and whatnot that are teaching at these schools too have decided to let's break this circle. And
Have you taught at Behind the Mic or any of that
yeah,
stuff as well?
on the mic, I used to teach there.
Okay.
And I'm still open door now for doing some part time and whatnot.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Yeah.
I also do stuff out of my own studio and take on students to
Do
work with
you? Perhaps you should talk
privately.
about that in case anybody out there might want to learn from one of the greats. Because my God.
Oh, hey, no, it's great. It's been great having this set up. This was the answer post COVID because you know everything shut down and
Yeah.
we needed to find the new model as to how where are we going to go? How are we going to get stuff recorded? And then eventually, I mean, I got the chance to record for Marvel down here, which is absurd. They're so very specific about being in the right studio, the same mic, the same positioning, all of that. But
Did you
with
do one of
COVID,
those motion comics from there? The
yes,
yeah. Okay, that's what I
I
figured.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Contest of Champions, was it, or
Cool.
something?
Okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah. It's been a lot of them. Yeah.
Carnage and Ironmonger, and
Cool.
but it was great. Also, I did Lego Marvel stuff from here,
Oh yeah. Of course. Of course. Right. 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 Yeah. That's
but
all love there too.
it was just yeah, it was the answer. Yeah, having this studio and being able to work and do that, and then I expanded. When things got slow, students are the answer. So
Hmm.
I started coaching people, whether they be pros or people that want to get into the industry, that want to get demos made, or
Hmm.
there's a full meal deal out there too. So
Is there a place people can go if they're hearing this and they want to seek you out?
yes, they can. Well, I mean, you can go onto my webpage, briandobsonvo.com.
Links down there. I'll have down below. Please, please,
Have a
please.
linky poo,
Yes.
and yeah, you can get a hold of me if you're over my socials because it seems to be very popular nowadays. A lot of people that are opening the
Yes.
door, and clients are far more accepting of hearing new talent than they ever were. So
Hmm.
as of today, yeah, if you've got something to bring to the table, you got some acting chops, and then you may have a chance at.
Seek this man out, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
But now you were. I got to say too. Actually, this is just occurring to me again. You were a godsend. I think it was either end of last year or beginning of this year because it's an indie production. There's a little game that I was lucky enough to co-write and cast and direct the voiceover for, and we actually managed to flip it on one of the low-budget not union contracts, so we got all the proper AI protection because we did it during the strike and everything. So huge thanks to Nava and SAG-AFTRA for that. But the remarkable Saffron Henderson came in and played a couple characters, and Brian was kind enough to engineer and record for that session, and
Get it
that was
right on.
so
The
much fun.
firing face, my lord. Yeah.
Yes, and it was excellent, and it turned out so well, and hopefully that will be out later this year. They're working very, very hard on a small team of like 6, 7 people doing it. They're
Excellent.
incredible, but I was very
Right.
happy to get some of the folks on it that I did, and especially at a time where people were hurting for a squirting on work. So
Yes.
um,
Hands down.
I I forgot to point this out too. I do think it's fun because you were talking about the three you and your brothers having just like if it was the three of you doing a whole show could give so many things. I do think it's pretty incredible that one is Cobra Commander, one is Skeletor, and one is Doctor Doom. Three people of the same family that are all actors are all like equally
Yeah.
iconic like normies know who these characters are type villain
It's so funny.
icons. Like, good lord.
We thought it'd be funny to one day to kind of do like a phone merge message thing where we're contemplating world domination between the three of us. It would be kind of,
That sounds like a Robot Chicken sketch like that's not been done yet
oh,
somehow.
completely, right? Just going off and
Uh,
no holds barred. It would be all, yeah, that would be fun. My brother Mike and I, yeah, we've had some doozy of conversations going into character with stuff like that. It's just
oh
gonna,
my goodness. I almost forgot to. I would have skipped over an incredibly instrumental time going back to the anime stuff for a second because mid 2000s when it was still really 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 popping for Vancouver, you guys had like the gold mine like double lightning strike of Death Note and Black Lagoon back to back,
oh my
and
gosh, can you
holy
swear
shit,
anymore in a series?
some
Yeah.
some of the best shows you guys have done, period. Like truly, like those are just absolutely outstanding. And I'll tell you with Death
Yeah,
Note, I
it was a
told
lot of fun.
Yeah, they're so good inherently. I told Carl and I told Saffron this. Like everybody wanted Death Note. Everybody wanted Death Note. Every studio in the country
I
wanted that
bet that
show.
was a big one that
So
was sought after for
yeah.
sure. And getting booking that show was it was awesome. And it was kind of it's interesting because I played one of the unsung heroes, that
Mm-hmm.
is like he kind of brought down the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like the key. But what a
And,
great story.
and also the
What a great
narrator.
little micro small thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't even realize that you were the narrator at the
Yes.
midpoint of the show. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, that was a big score, and like still, I just showed that to someone that missed out on it, and it like became one of their favorite shows of all time, like
A
right
lot
away.
of folks,
So,
yeah, that jump on late with that
yeah,
is like, wow, what an unseen gem.
yeah.
It reminds me of actually a lot of people that fall onto shows like Sort of the Stranger.
Oh, yeah, that was a movie, right? I think.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
one-off too,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I had a good chunk role in that one too. But the animation, oh my God, it was
Yeah,
so
no, well, those film, I mean, Girl Who Lived Through Time as well. Like some of those
yeah,
anime films are just, I've done a couple of those out here as well,
can't
and they're
really
just
go wrong with
amazing.
them.
So
It
good.
is, yeah.
Yeah, Black Lagoon. I remember I watched that right when I was breaking into voiceover because I was in New York first. I did Pokemon out there when I was starting
Oh,
out, and I remember
yeah.
watching Black Lagoon in college, and because I'd heard about you guys talking about it, and we were like, "You have no idea how cathartic it is," and I'm like, "Wow!" After like 15 years of like, oh, strawberry shortcake and like all the cutesy
Oh,
whatever, and then it's say you get to just drop the F bomb on a
yeah.
regular basis every goddamn episode.
I've never sworn as much. Like that was the groovy guy Russell. He was just constant
Yes, that's right.
bomb this, that, and the other. Other than I think Sausage Party was the
Oh well, yeah, that's its own
outside
animal
of
in and of
that.
itself.
But yeah, Black Lagoon. What a ride! What a crazy, crazy run that was. I miss shows like that.
I will say too, because you pointed that out, but I didn't realize that He-Man, Warhammer, and Fantastic Four were all at the same time. Was there a point when, and I'll fillet your ego a little bit. Was there a point where you realized like, oh, like I'm in this, like I'm one of the guys. I'm really one of the, like when you don't have any other job, you don't have any other thing going on, and like
It's
you're just
amazing
popping,
that
like
that you mean that surreal moment? Yeah.
yeah, well, it's the word of the day, kids. What was there a point where like that hit you, or like, or did it just sort of like it just kind of converted to that like end at that
Um,
point?
no, there were moments where it's that kind of like somebody pinch me moment, where
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, wow, this is happening right now because I think I mean my road it took a while. It was a good 3 years of beating the door before really I started
Mm-hmm.
seeing success with things. So when you get that taste, when you've wanted something so badly and you've seen a lot of your peers um, living it. When you have that moment, yeah, it's nice when you actually do recognize it.
Yeah, yeah, for real. My
Because it
God.
is a very, yeah, it's very gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I was going to make it. There was, I had to, give kudos to both my brothers for saying, come on, hang tight, because there
Mm-hmm.
were many of those phone calls were just like, it's not going to happen, man. I can't do this. You just, you need a thick skin with, as anyone, as you can probably attest, is, how many auditions do you do to the percentage of what you book? You know,
Yeah.
you need a skin to handle that rejection.
Yeah, and I think also the nice thing now, the people of my generation, we have the internet to just do our own stuff. It's like
So different. So
yeah, I
different.
mean, like you
Yeah.
can people, the actors that I know now are producing things and just making stuff, like just doing TikToks and working with animators and just coming up with their own characters, just putting stuff out, and then that keeps them relevant, and then that shows things that they could do. People now that pay
Oh.
attention to that be like, oh, I didn't know you could do that voice. Oh, I gotta remember that next time we're doing whatever. Like, there's so many different like ways,
Digital
like
age of study has changed everything.
yeah,
It's a massive game changer. There's no reason or excuses now for not being fully studied and ready for anything, really. Because I
yeah,
mean, you have everything at your fingertips to research. Where before it was a bit of a dig, right? Trying to get things. I studied dialects for a very long time, and
mm-hmm.
I also work as a dialect coach for film and television. But
Oh, okay.
getting that down in the day was going to the freaking library and getting cassette tapes and
Mm-hmm.
studying and studying and studying and rewinding again using that tape method. Oh, like
Any any uh
oh.
any particularly fun or like unusual accents that you've gotten to coach for like movies or anything like that before that like kind of stand out?
Well, it was one of the fun stories, I guess you can call it. I was a dialect coach on the series, The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Okay.
And one, I had seven actors that I was coaching on that series. One of them, which
Wow.
was Henry Thomas,
Oh,
from
okay.
our young little ET man.
Mm-hmm.
He was amazing, and he had to do like a London style accent. But
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Jackson Cohen, who was one of the other stars on the show, they had chosen a Glaswegian accent for him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know other than it was going to be some kind of Irishy or something style accent when he was flying out from London to come to set. We got him 2 weeks before he went to camera, and myself and Doug Abrams, the other dialect coach, had
Oh
set up
yeah, yeah.
a uh, a snippet of the Glaswegian, and so we went and found a piece online that is, and I mean, anyone can attest that it's got to be one of the most difficult
Yeah.
accents
Yeah.
to understand, especially once they get into their banter and whatnot. But so we found a snippet that we were going to use for his guide that was just so thick, so undiscernible.
It's like that bit from the
We get a
Disney
really
movie
good,
Brave with
yeah, we got a
the
good
yeah.
15-second chunk of this sample, right? And we're dead serious. So we meet him, and it's all very officious. We meet him at the studio, and we're at the Paramount Place. And we're sitting across the table from each other. And he's like, "Okay, so what's it going to be? Like, what have they figured it's going to be for me?" Kind of. And I said, "Well, it's going to be Glaswegian, and well, we'll just give you a sample of what you're going to be diving into here." And we got, and how much time do we got? I said, "Well, we need you here in about 2 weeks, right, to be at this level." And then we hit play on the thing, and it was so thick. I can't even
She
remember
just
it,
turns
but
white.
I just saw the fear of God go into his face and just go like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh my god.
And then we held that for a little while, and then we both broke out into laughter and let him know that it was absolutely, we had the actual soundbite, which was
Right.
daunting.
Oh my god
It was
almighty.
still difficult, but I mean,
Yeah.
compared to what we'd given him, it was a good joke. I wish I
Every,
had that on film. Actually, it was really a good moment.
Jesus. It's funny. Speaking of Glaswegian, I remember everything comes back to Trevor, that the man they called Duvall.
The ball,
He talked about
you Kevin Bacon.
on Mega Man Anti Warrior. There was a bad guy character he played that was recurring for a long time. That they made him a Scottish guy, but they specifically were like, we want an authentic Glaswegian. And he's like, no. No,
No, you
no,
don't.
you don't. They're like, no, 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 no. And then he's like, okay. And then he does it. And they're like, okay, no, we want
So maybe we'll
Scott.
pull it back.
Yeah, we want Scotty from Star Trek. He's like, yeah, that's what I thought. So that's what we got. So
Let's go generic, shall we? Basically what happens half the time. Most
always.
of the dialects and stuff that most of the time, not always, but most of the times, it's very bastardized.
Well, now it's changed a lot. Now, and now they'll just straight up get like the authentic somebody that has it naturally anyway. And now,
It's what we
yeah,
want to hear. It's
yeah.
amazing. I wish they would.
The only downside is then the people like yourself who have spent all this time practicing accents. It's like, well, then that goes out the window if they're just going to go straight there and get them. So it's like, well,
To a degree, but I still
yeah,
see a ton of stuff happen.
yeah,
At that where it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, why didn't you get authentic or at least
I
someone,
know.
or where was the dialect coach to help this poor bastard?
Yeah.
It's
I have so many British friends that are always like, I'm right here, I'll
well,
do it, you
especially the
know?
Brits.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know. I feel
absolutely.
so bad
How
for
many
them.
times have we seen a non-Brit in a Brit role that is a primary? And anyway, don't get
Yeah.
me started.
I know we're at the. I've still got a few things. I don't want to rush through everything, but my God, I just love talking
Hey,
to you so
hold on.
goddamn much.
This is really cool. You and I were talking before we got the show started as
Mm.
to whether my account was going to. We've just exceeded an hour, and that means we're on the right account.
Beautiful, excellent. That's why Zoom never stops working.
Well, you don't know, but
We are
I
not
don't know
sponsored
what
by
I've been
Zoom.
through. It's been horrible. Zoom can really, yeah.
Christ.
So we're hot.
You mentioned your gamer. Favorite game of
Yeah, yeah.
gun to your head.
I just don't get to play 'em enough.
Favorite game of all time. Gun to your head. Single one.
Well, Call of Duty was my campaign for the longest time,
The
but
original.
I like old stuff, like what do you call it? Trends. What is it called again? Oh, it's gone. But Ghost and Goblins
Oh
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
old
Okay.
stuff and
Any NES, kind of era.
all of that. I
Yeah.
actually just picked up one of those consoles where it's got the double joystick on it. It's got like 60,000 games.
Oh, one of those at the mall.
It's actually I've gone through it and they're all legit. They're all like the
Yeah.
original ones. Like oh my gosh, yeah. There's so many titles. But for modern titles, I mean, yeah, I want to get into the new Gears of War, so I'm probably going to reinvest in an Xbox. I think. I mean,
Whatever the
yes.
Xbox One. Yeah, I know. I've got.
I also got a VR, which is pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, okay. I did a little bit of this many years ago. I directed a couple VR games. We had like we
Ooh,
did
nice.
A Creed game. We got Michael B. Jordan to play himself.
Oh,
And
no
then
way.
yeah, then we matched all
Uh,
we matched all the Rocky characters with sound alikes and stuff, and that was just I mean like
that's pretty.
stuff like that, like a boxing game. We had like a marathon, like a running racing game with like crazy like alien characters. Like that stuff has
Yeah,
just blown my mind how far that's come alone. Like my God. Um,
video games. It's a big one for me. I'm yeah. You just remind me. I don't know why you remind me of Plants vs Zombies. I've been doing that
oh
one for
yeah, yeah.
another. That's like 15 or more years. I've been on that campaign.
Hmm.
But it's fun because to get a gig on that campaign, you'll get called into EA, and if you can do the vocal jam, I think for over 20 minutes or so, and prove yourself that you could just pull a monkey out of from somewhere,
Yeah,
uh, that you will get, they'll keep you around for a while, right? And that's what it
yeah,
is. There's such raw animations and everything that they put together that they show you at the last second, and then they kind of let it run. And she's like, "Okay, what do you got?"
yeah,
And
yeah,
off
yeah,
you go
yeah.
into your house of zany to try and produce something for each of those movements, you know. But
I wouldn't even have known Plants vs Zombies or Vancouver people. That's so
yeah,
funny. Yeah,
yeah,
it
many
is
many
fun.
years in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's so bizarre. I know some of the not lately, but not the newest one, but some of the Donkey Kong games were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chris Sabat studio. Those are all like the Texas DBZ guys, like doing
Dr. Savage.
all the creatures and stuff. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
god, yeah. Good lord. Last big one on the list before I double back to one last thing, because
sure.
I know that this one has been just a huge thing for everybody. Like, I didn't even realize how much this impacted everyone in Canada and the fans and how much it lasted. But and I have not seen the show, but my entire relationship with it is just through Brent having you guys on his channel, but Ninjago. I mean, like
Oh my
that was I
God.
don't even know how many years, how many
Oh,
seasons that was just this like part of
it
your guys'
does.
life.
This
And you
keeps.
were three
Yeah,
characters on that show, yeah?
yeah, yeah. Soul Archer. Um, that other guy in Ronin. Ronin has been like the primary
Yeah.
uh, of them all. But
And is he in the new one? The new
well,
like the next
he hasn't.
generation one?
I'm in this purgatorial place right now, kind of like what happened with my brother and his character Sensei Wu.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
so we're kind of like, knock, knock, knock. Hello, we'd like to come back. It blows my mind the popularity if I go on the road to conventions as to how many people are kudos I get for that Ronin character, which
Yeah.
I based off of Luke Skywalker, basically.
Mhm.
Got that kind of forward, thinking guy. He's tough and he's an arms dealer. It was fun. I just did
Yeah.
it.
It's so funny cuz I was obsessed with this was another Canadian show, but Bionicle. That was like my big Lego thing when I was a
Oh,
kid.
both Paul and
Loved
Mike
that.
had a
Yes.
very long
That's right.
run with that
Yeah, a
show.
bunch of the love those movies and
I still
Andrew.
wanted on that. I really
Yeah,
wanted
that would have been
on
cool to
it.
have you on there for it could give you a Toa.
Damn.
But that one that one was very popular in its day.
Yeah.
But then like Ninjago just like was like what 10 seasons I think or so like with the new one
Yeah.
included. Like
Is it
my
10 or
God,
15? I don't know. It's somewhere in there where
it's a rare treat for animation now.
it is. I'm doing Lego Dreams right now, I guess is the
Oh yeah,
closest
yeah, yeah.
thing
Mhm.
associated, which we're going I play the brain and the Forge Master, which are
Okay.
the main guys. So it's always fun. Anytime Lego comes calling is a good thing because their writing is always so good, I find.
Last one because this is going to be
Mm.
a fun note to go out on. I have a fun little thing that we're going to do together, you and I.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you something. So, for those of you who don't know this, which might be all of you, might be some of you, might be none of you, Brian and I share a character, as a matter of fact, because I know one of your very first anime ever was the original, very first Mobile Suit Gundam,
Yes, sir.
where you were Garmazabi, and
That's
I,
right. Garmazombie.
probably well over a decade later, maybe even 15, can't remember exactly, but here in LA, we did a prequel to the first Gundam series called Gundam: The Origin, and I played Garma as a young man in military school with Char, and
No, this is
and it
amazing.
was
Okay.
so it because it was literally it was all about the bad guys. It was the
Yeah.
origin of the villain characters, and it was six beautifully animated OVAs that we did, and then it ends with the beginning of the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, and then it goes into the rest of it. And actually, I didn't get the chance to tell you this. Now I finally can. So
All right.
I started him. I started him like around. I think he's like 14, in like a quick little bit, and then I have him as like college age and with Char and etc. and finding himself. And then in the very last bit that I did, he's at because he's always got the little thing of wine, and he's at a party with Char, like kind of show off a little bit. And I had a bit of the hey there, Char. I tried to infuse a little bit of yours into what I did, so that if it's like, okay, if you're watching this in order, then it makes sense to go from one thing to the other.
All
So that
right.
was my little bit of my tribute
You're
to
on
you with that.
fire. Okay.
So,
That's huge, Chris. I had no idea.
absolutely no. Hey, listen. I mean, I because
I love it.
I grew up with Seed and Wing and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So that was, I mean,
A
just to
lot of
get to
roots
be
there.
part of that universe. But
That is
and
so cool.
because you've done what, probably a good like four different Gundam shows probably at this
I
point. I
think
think
so,
throughout
somewhere in there.
everything. Yeah.
It was funny because I was looking over my little animation video game credit things the other day, and then I
hmm
fell into all of a sudden all of that stuff as well, and I was like, oh my God, there were so many versions.
Yeah, and that was way at the beginning.
Yep,
Was because that's where because that
way
show was
early
from
stuff.
that show originally. I think you guys did it in probably like 99 2000, but that's just from the
It is.
70s, and it looks it,
Yeah.
but it's very
Well, I
like
just have to be careful because of the versions and that, and you've got to be careful with the purists because they'll catch you right away. It's like, hold on, no, no, you're in the wrong one there, pal.
yeah. There's the difference because like Seed is its own
Yes,
universe,
yes,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
all important stuff.
I just sent you an email of something.
Okay.
If you want to see if it'll pop up. Okay, I'm stealing a little something. This is how we're going to end this lovely interview, everybody. So I'm stealing a little something from the great Jim Cummings and the Tuned In podcast, where we're going to do sort of a voice swap thing.
Okay.
I have sent Brian a monologue of Garma that he's never performed from Gundam Origin, and then
Hmm.
I'm going to do one of his lines from Mobile Suit Gundam. So we're going to have a cross Garma situation here. So
This is really cool.
I'll,
Okay.
I'll set the scene here. You are in a military camp, and you are, for the first time, finding, as much as he's like the little prissy one, he is finding his voice of commanding and getting to rally the troops of people. And
Yeah.
so it's a slow build of like pleading and pleading and pleading, and
It's
then
a bit of a
finally
rise,
rallying
right?
every. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. So, by all means, you may fire when ready, Captain.
Are you ready?
Yes,
Okay,
go
here
for
we
it. Go for
go.
it.
We must rise up. We have the potential to make history today. That said, we might also provide the spark to ignite an all-out war between the Federation and Xeon. But my friends, think back to and remember, why did we all enroll here? Why did we want to become soldiers? It was to protect the lives, the rights, and the properties of the space noids. And it was never to serve the Federation. This isn't about rebelling. It's about doing what's right. You must understand one thing. This is not one of our drills. This is no mock battle. The bullets out there will be real. If you get hit, you could die. And in all likelihood, some of us sure will. All right. Then let's move out!
Beautiful. And there he was. Somewhere Char is listening and going like, there you go, rich kid. If I had the
Oh my
sunglasses.
gosh.
All right,
You
and
know,
now
I almost had the part of Sharp.
yes, you talked about that on I think on Anime Time Machine, which I'd be remiss not to mention that. But please, yeah, do you want to talk
Terrifying.
about
Yeah.
that?
Well, I mean, it was just, I was wet behind the ears, and then all of a sudden I done the audition, and I had never booked a big role before, and suddenly
Mm-hmm.
they thought I was the perfect match for
Mm-hmm.
that part, and then I didn't realize it, but they had sent in a full media team and everything for my day one record.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's a
remember getting
big
out of the
deal.
car. There's people taking pictures, and everyone is just like, "Oh my God, what's going on?"
Yep.
It's a big deal to create. They'd flown everybody over from Japan. It was, but I was new and went behind the ears, and I couldn't get like my first session was my last.
Mm-hmm. It happens to the best of us for sure.
And
But
then later, I got this time to re-audition again, and then Garba.
and I mean, he's literally the character that sets the whole rest of the story in motion.
It's
Like
so
he's,
bizarre the way that whole thing unfolded, but
yeah.
to think that
I mean,
I
Char,
was almost sure, but yeah.
Char, Garma, and Amuro, and all these characters. I mean, like they're literally as influential as Star Wars characters are to the anime world. Like some of those. I mean, like yeah, because I've literally told the producers from Japan, maybe some of the same people that you've met when we've done these other ones, that I'm like, dude. I like, if God forbid we ever did a remake someday, I'm like, I want to go down in a blaze of glory, man. Are you kidding me? That last scene is
Oh my
so, it's like
gosh, isn't it
iconic. It's like
crazy?
literally one of the most iconic anime scenes of all time. So,
Yeah,
so that said, if I would, I'm gonna do my best on this. I'm gonna step back as God knows I'm loud. I am a son of the Sabi family, and I will go down in quarry. You have not defeated me! Ah! Glory to the nation of Zion! Out. There he goes. Before before we
boom.
end, very, very last thing, I promise. Please tell the folks out there, because there's way too many of them that don't know, about Anime Time Machine, which is your project with Saffron Henderson, Carl Willems, who are fantastic. I tune into every stream, and so should everybody out there. Please tell them about
It's a
this.
wonderful thing, and you know what? We're well due for another episode to come out. We're usually far more consistent, but we just wanted to put together something that kind of gave a salute to not only a lot of where we started with a lot of the ocean dubs, but to where it's going. So we kind of wanted to make something that was going to be looking at the past and maybe kind of saluting to what was going to be coming for the future, and dipping into talking with voice actors that had a history with all that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a nice run. We've had some fairly cool names out on the show, and we want to expand on that and start doing more. So you can certainly expect to hear more from us. It's just um, it's a challenge when you have a director. With Carl and what
Yeah.
he's got going on. I know he's a busy guy, and with Saffron Secure and myself, trying to get those slots where we can all kind of logistically hooked up and then get our guest for each episode. It is a lot, and I have learned a lot from just kind of what a tiny show this is.
Yeah, I want to. I've talked to Saffron about this. I want to help get you guys like properly on YouTube as well, because like it's mostly been exclusive to Instagram as of late.
Yep, it has.
But you guys deserve a bigger presence because it's so much fun. There's great stories. They do live signings and stuff.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, well, gosh, any way or form that we could get you on board with it, we would be
Oh
honored.
please,
So
my God! And
that's
hopefully we'll
great.
do a con together at some point because I'm slowly getting back
Oh,
into
Chris,
that
I'd love
world a
that.
little
That would
bit.
be
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh my
I,
gosh. Well, Brian, thank you. This was wonderful.
thank you.
Links to where, if any of you guys out there want to train with Brian, he's literally one of the best, genuinely. I'll have
Oh,
links to
by
all
all
his
means,
socials
yeah, look
below.
me up.
And Twitter, play Dobson. And what's your Instagram? I guess it's just Brian Dobson.
Via Brian Dobson VO.
Got it. I'll have all links to that.
Yeah,
Thank you all, and we'll see you on the next one, and hopefully we'll see you on the next Anime Time
absolutely.
Machine at some point too.
Hey,
So
what a pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me out, and love your show, and keep up the great work, brother. It's very cool. Thanks
awesome.
for letting me be a part of it.
Yes, Sig Zion. All right, bye everybody.